Is this thing on? Yeah, there we go. All right. Hi. Welcome to the stream. Who's there? Let me see. There's my arrow. Who do we got? Hey, silent author. Haha. I figured it might be you. If you're watching on VOD or on the YouTube archive, hi. Welcome to the show. Oh. So I'm streaming on, what is the date today? It's the 27th. Hey, Amanda Panda Sensei. Sensei. Amanda Panda Sensei. Does that mean you are a turtle or a red panda? Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, welcome. Soy Clubberville. Was that? This is probably some sort of pathology on my part, but I always end up scanning the chat list and then checking to see who are bots. Yeah, Soy Clubberville's a bot. I knew it. So, big day today. Oh, yeah, I forgot to change the info for the stream. Grr. That was... I wonder, can I do it after the fact? An Amanda Panda. There you go. Fair enough. Nice to meet you. You don't get Frank. No Frank. I got other stuff I have to do first. Frank is there, and actually, I have to say that this work I'm doing on the three-part story tomorrow is really going to help Frank out. There's a bunch of stuff that I had set up for Frank that just doesn't work and wouldn't have worked and would end up probably having me give up on Frank completely at some point. But now, there's no need for that because I know what I'm doing. Haha. Hold on the three-part novel. Exclamation point. There. I don't know if I can actually change that after the fact or not, but we're going to try. All right, so trying a couple different things today. I'm starting full screen. Ooh, look at all that space. Won't stay here for very long because I'm going to get going on the writing stuff. Got a couple of things I need to do planning wise before I get writing today. There's a couple of things I want to organize for this first part of the new story, and then I can actually start writing the darn thing. I finished that nonfiction stuff last night that I'd been working on previously. That's done now. I'm going to go through and edit it, and I'm going to record an audiobook version, and I have to figure out how compile works in the new version of Scrivener. So I guess not done, but the writing part is done. The rest shouldn't take too long. So today we're working with Emil. Or Emil. I think we go with Emil. So desu ka? That's, yeah, okay, I'm going to stop there. And nihao. My Japanese is beyond rusty. I learned it back in college. Took took a bunch of Japanese courses and learned German at the time too as electives. I was reasonably fluent in Japanese at one point. I mean, not fluent, but I could converse comfortably on a fairly wide range of topics, so I guess fluent. But that was almost 30 years ago now, so it's been a while. How long have you been in Japan? Okay, so urban. Oh, you're in. You know what? 4.5 years. Okay, fair enough. I can read some of that just because we use the same characters in Chinese. Um, something no. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, no, it's sort of when information is tickling on the edge of your brain and you like it looks familiar but you can't quite get it to slot into place. Yeah, that. No, not. I didn't find it that difficult actually. I mean, to be fair, in the courses I took, we didn't really learn much for kanji. We started on some kanji, but mostly it was katakana and hiragana. I also had a slight advantage in that the guitar player in my band was from Japan, and was teaching us all the dirty words, and we got to hear a lot of Japanese hanging out with him and some of his friends. So yeah, no, because urban, nihon urban in Chinese, urban. Yeah, yeah. I've been in China for 17 years now, and counting. Hoo. So yeah, you know what? I've never actually been to Japan. My wife and my youngest have been. They went to Universal Studios there to see Harry Potter World at one point, and I couldn't go. I had no free time from work, so they went without me. Went on a little cruise and yeah. Read the right. Ha 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 ha. I get it. I see what you did there. No, I've been on Twitch for a few weeks, and irregularly. Right, Silent Author? Yeah, no, it's fine. There will be another time. I'd probably want to try and brush up my Japanese somewhat before trying to make that trip. Although I'm fairly certain you can get by reasonably well with English. Now, yeah, I'm noticing that I've got a little red square, and okay, so yeah, hopefully that'll solve it. I have to use a VPN to get to Twitch, and streaming through a VPN is kind of awkward. And yeah, the server I was using, the VPN server I was using, was fine and stable up until I went live, and then suddenly it starts crapping out and dropping connection. So hopefully this will stay stable and be lovely and wonderful. So yeah, no, I've been on Twitch for a couple of weeks, few weeks, 3 now, I think, maybe 3 or 4, sort of. But I've been really spotty on my schedule. up until now. I'm making a solid effort to try and stick to everything these days, and follow through on what I've agreed to do, which is stream and write. Writing is good. Oh, female writer, hi. Dinneretta. O genki desu ka? Actually, Amanda Panda Sensei, Dinneretta, I think, also is connected with Japan and Japanese. Their profile involves their handle written in hiragana. So, yeah, I saw you there. I saw you lurking. Haha. Like I said, I compulsively check the chat users list to see who's here. Dinneretta's a little bit shy, though. They haven't really said much beyond hello once in the chat, but that's fine. I understand. So what I'm doing today is I've gone back to my roots a little bit. I'm planning things on paper. Digital denizen that I am. Streaming on Twitch, writing on paper. So, yeah. So I had... Oh, no, I want the other side of that. I am... Let me... grab this. And go here and go there. I'm going to go back to my regular setup. I suppose I should add the chat box to the full headshot view as well, in case I want to use it more. I don't think I really want to use it more. No one wants to look at my face that close up. But you know what? It works for me. I was having trouble. I was trying to plan in Scrivener up there, but it really wasn't doing it for me. I was having trouble organizing things and keeping stuff straight in my head. So I'm also, as I think I mentioned previously, going back through my my copy of Larry Brooks's Story Engineering, which it's sort of my go-to structure manual for novels and stories and books. It's I always hesitate to recommend it to people because he's very long-winded and he spends an inordinate amount of time trying to convince you that the stuff he's going to tell you is worth being told, and it reads a lot like an infomercial for the first half of the book before he starts actually getting into stuff that's useful. If you go on Amazon in the Kindle store and look at the reviews of the book, there's quite a large number of one-star reviews that will tell you exactly that. See, I'm probably never going to type this out. I'll use it as a reference page to the side here and glance at it when I need to, but it's basically just a way for me to organize the pieces of the story and make sure that I have things where they need to be for a satisfying narrative experience. So, yeah, we have established already that I'm a planner and not a pantser, right? I'm a plotter. I like to have things laid out nice and neat before I start writing. Lets me concentrate on my words rather than my structure. So I've got, yeah, this is the hook. I'm going to close that so I can see everything here. Are we, oh yeah, we're big enough on the screen. I always forget to check my text size, my zoom level for the screen. Okay. So we've got a couple of newer folks in the chat. Hello. Don't forget to follow if you would like to be notified when I go live in future. 3 times a week is the plan. Previously on the stream, it sounds like a voiceover at the beginning of some sort of episode. Hey, Amanda Panda Sensei is now following. Haha, my alerts worked. Woo! That's why I remind. I'm getting good at this whole live stream thing. Well, maybe a bit premature to say that. Previously on the stream, I was working on a story called Bloodlines involving my mysterious detective Frank Berg. In a sort of... Oh, who's this? Yeah, no, I don't think so, but thanks for offering. Twat. Yeah, what was I saying before we were so rudely interrupted by spam bots? Oh yeah, Frank in it's sort of a parallel world London-esque kind of city with magic and monsters. Oh, they usually wander off pretty quickly when nobody buys their followers. Jesus, I mean, just the existence of that, what does that say about our society? Want to become famous. Your poor cat. Always getting pills. I assume pills. I should... Oh, yes, you know what? Actually, while we're doing this, let me grab that. We have a Discord as well. And Chris isn't here to plug the Discord, so I'll do that. It's called Readers and Writers. It's for either of those types of people who like to read and talk about what they're reading, or who write and like to talk about writing. And at some point in hopefully the near future, we'll start going on the book club. We'll have a book club on there. We might have multiple book clubs on there, actually. It occurred to me that if we can't all agree on a single book to do all together, well, I think maybe we probably can, but we could probably have 2 or 3 different books going in book clubs at the same time. Ain't no reason why not. But yeah, that's the link to the Discord. If you're watching after the fact on the VOD or the YouTube archive, I'll try and remember to put it in the notes. Yeah, I usually block the ones that I find as bots. Didn't occur to me to bother. I figured that one would probably leave, but the Closet Forge, that doesn't sound like a bot. TSIDK1, huh? Done and done. Yeah, one of the things I do as I look through the stream users in chat is to often just delete the bots that are there. But Soy Clubberville, huh? That seems to be a bot. Oh, hi. Introduce yourself. Say hello. I often feel a bit guilty because I tend to, I promise a writing stream and then I don't do any writing half the time. Just chatting and chatting. I'm a chatty Cathy. What can I say? What was I doing? I was doing that. I also am very easily distracted. I'm a banned Soy Clubberville. Be gone with you. Well, now Silent Author says that, but I'm not so sure I believe them. I have a sneaking suspicion that biting is there in the repertoire. You know what? I went and made I was a little bit late starting the stream today. I was trying to get some planning done ahead of time and have that first cup of coffee before I started. And then I went to make a second cup of coffee just before the stream started. And I came back and I've started the stream and I forgot to bring my coffee with me. It's sitting in the kitchen on the counter. Hey, cool. Hopefully they don't mind. I know a lot of Discord servers don't like when you plug another Discord server in their Discord server. I don't mind personally, but I know a lot of people get bent out of shape about that, or at least so I've been told. There we go. I'm gonna minimize that because it's distracting me. I'm gonna run and get my cup of coffee. I needs it. I will be back in a moment. No, I know it's horrific. It's unsupportable. I cannot handle it. Now, should I do the back in a moment screen, or should I just leave it on my books? I'll leave it on my books. I will. Yeah, I'm very sane, but if I don't get my coffee, I might go insane in my membrane. I'll mute my mic though, just in case stuff happens. Ah, okay. No, fair enough. I trust that you know what you're doing and you wouldn't step on any toes. Certainly no more than I do. All right, I'll be back in about 10 seconds. I just got to grab my cup. Well, yeah, just in case. You never know what kind of weird noises might happen. I don't know. Never know when my lovely spouse might decide to shout at me about something. Fair enough. Fair enough. Duties as a herald of new writers. Yes, as the herald of new writers. My apologies. Yeah. Yeah, not that I have a particularly shouty spouse, but I do occasionally get chastised for things. All right. What was... Oh, yes. So, I was going through my PDF of this writing craft book. So, yeah, Larry Brooks, Story Engineering. If you can wade through the faff and blather, and his slightly resentful attitude towards writers that are much more successful than him, that does come through from time to time a little bit more than it probably should. Not a great look, but there is a fair bit of pretty useful information in there to be found. Don't we all? Yeah, I do. That's okay. She gets chastised from time to time as well. All right. So, that's what I was doing. So this goes up here. Organize my papers. I've managed over the past week or so to keep my desk area tidy. The part on the mat anyway, my desk mat. I think it might have been a very good idea to get a desk mat. Yeah, I don't have an easy way to show that in the stream actually. I shared some pictures in the Discord. Maybe let's... see if I can... Why is there 3 of those? Here. Try this. See, no sooner do I start actually doing something than I get distracted and start doing something else. We'll go to this again, and I'll just hold that up. Haha. So there. I feel like such a grandpa. That is my current sort of desk setup where I'm typing and stuff. It's backwards because I've got my screen reversed, but I'm not left-handed. We've got the main keyboard, the trackball that I use for my daily driver pointing duties, and a numpad keypad to the left of, or to the right of that, I guess. And then up in the top right of the picture, but top left of the desk mat is my macro pad that I use to control the stream. This is what the whole thing looks like from the front, my double screen setup with camera. That's what I'm looking at when you're looking at me. Ooh, close-up dramatic zoomy shot of my new keyboard that I love so much. Woohoo. So, yeah, that's my setup. In case anybody was interested. What? Oh, yeah. Stop that. Now. Okay, right. I was going to get back to work is what I was going to do. I've also realized, oh, sorry, that I gotta fix that so that it does it regardless of what window I'm in. I've also realized that I have this habit of focusing so much on the one character that's interesting to me, like my protagonist in this case, that I don't bother populating my stories very much. Almost no people in my stories half the time. So, in the one I'm working on here, Emil is a team leader. He's running a whole team of people doing research, and I haven't given any thought whatsoever to any of those people. No idea who they are. Haven't given them any names. I don't know how many people. I don't know their backgrounds. I haven't given any thought whatsoever to any of those people. And so none of my scenes up there involve him talking to them either, which I'm going to have to adjust. Otherwise, it will feel a bit odd. Okay. I don't need this. So, that's okay. I think I'm gonna... Oh, what was that? Hey, the Closet Forge. Hello, hello. Welcome to the chat. Maybe introduce yourself and let people say hi at you. Are you a writer as well, or a reader? Or possibly simply somebody who likes watching writers and readers? Ah, yes, the cat has been medicated. For some reason, when I said the cat has been medicated there, my brain supplied a little connection to there's some medicated product. Ah, there we go. Another writer. What do you write? I think we've got mostly spec fic writers so far. Fantasy and okay, yeah. When you said the cat has been medicated, or when I said the cat has been medicated, I was some sort of medicated Gold Bond medicated powder. That's what it was. It's powder that's been medicated for our benefit. So I just had this image in my head of like rubbing a bunch of cats with various medications and then having them be the delivery method for your medicine, like Vicks Vapo Rub or something, some mentholated spirits or something. Clear out your sinuses whenever the cat walks by. Urban fantasy, dark playground. I like it. I have put on hiatus my, I guess it would be considered urban fantasy in a way. Parallel world, quasi London with magic detective novel, basically, is what I was writing, and with monsters. I shouldn't mention it at all because I know Silent Author is yearning for Frank Berg, the detective. But he's on hiatus. I have to work on this other story right now, which is, for want of a better term, literary sci-fi, I guess. Very introspective, character-driven sci-fi, only in the sense that it's set in somewhat in the future, near future, I would say, and deals with technological advances as its primary catalyst for driving the narrative. So okay, as I'm see if I can multitask here. As I'm going through here looking for a piece of information in my PDF, I can give the new people, well, I guess maybe everyone, a rundown of what I'm working on at the moment. So the working title I have for this is Tomorrow. Like I said, it's near future, and it has to do with lifespan and longevity. So the setup, the premise for the story is that scientists at a biotech research lab have solved aging. They've cured aging, unraveled the mystery, and alleviated the need to die of old age. So as a result of their discoveries, I mean, maybe not right away, but in the fairly near future from the story, people won't age and die anymore. The possibility of an indefinite lifespan is now on the table. And the novel, such as it is, I conceived of it as 3 connected novellas, actually, and I'm kind of I'm sticking to that in my head anyway. I really want to keep the 3 threads of the story very separate. They only really interact with each other in very specific ways at 1 or 2 points. The characters don't know each other. Oh, okay. Hi, Silent Author. Welcome back. So the 3 separate parts of the story involve. Oh, it turns out I can't multitask. I'll just do this first. The 3 separate parts of the story involve the responses of 3 different kinds of people to this development. So the first part is the scientist who led the team who made the discovery, Emil van Dyke, and and we've got most. Well, I've got most of it plotted out reasonably well, to at least so far. Today I'm gonna go back over my plotting and sort of adjust some things and add some stuff in a few places and maybe move a couple of things around a bit. Just make sure it works. The structure works before I get too deep into writing it. I also now have a better feel for that character. I've been giving him some thought and letting him wander around in my brain a bit. So I've got a better idea of who he is and what he wants and how he works and what motivates him and all those nifty things that you need to know about your protagonist before you can reasonably expect to write his story. So the first one is Emil, who is the scientist who cured aging effectively. The second part of the story, the second novella in the novel, is a young man named, what was his name again? Damir Kumar, right? Yes, Damir Kumar, who is, yeah, I never really filled that out much, did I? And Marcus, I didn't either. Emil, I did. So I have a better idea of Emil than I do of anyone else. Yeah, Damir grew up in a very devout Christian household, and is pursuing a master's degree in biochemistry, and had taken an internship at the same company that Emil works at. And when this announcement comes out, the reaction from his faith community is, let's say, less than enthusiastic. He's pressured by said faith community to resign his internship, which he does. And he's under ongoing pressure to actually abandon his biochemistry path and find something else to do with his life. And he's struggling with the conflict between what his community, his faith community, which is really his only community, is telling him is right, and what he feels is right. His internal moral sense, moral compass, is telling him that if you can alleviate suffering, if you can cure the ills that plague mankind, then you're obligated to do so. This is a good thing. But the people in his life, almost all of them, are telling him that's not the case. That aging and death are God's will, and that by trying to get around that, he's playing God, effectively. So there's that conflict. And then the third story is about Marcus Waterman, who is a manual laborer. He hauls materials around construction sites for a living. He drives a wheelbarrow all day. And sort of his response to this development, which is quite different from the other two. So, yeah, that's what I'm working on at the moment. I wasn't initially terribly enthusiastic about this one. I was still very much stuck in Frankland. But I've shifted now. I'm actually quite interested in this story now, more so than I was previously. I'm optimistic and enthusiastic about it and looking forward to writing it. So I think we should jump on those motivational waves when they come. I'm this story that I'm writing for credit at Athabasca University and working with a professor of creative writing there. So I'm on sort of a deadline that I wouldn't normally have. I'm supposed to have this first section, the first novella, written by the end of this month. And given that that's in 3 days, it seems unlikely, but we'll see what we can do, yeah? All right, so I'm going to bring up my PDF. Oh, if you're not sure, PDFs, I call them PDFs. It amuses me. All right, so... and then... Okay. Okay. Figure that out too. All right. Hmm. All right. Yeah, okay, no, that works. So, at the moment, I'm sorry. Yeah, I think you were probably not in the chat or not watching when I was going over that. Um, I'm going back through my old battered PDF copy of Larry Brooks's Story Engineering, and just sort of making sure all the pieces of this outline are where they need to be and that I haven't overlooked anything. Um, he say what you will about Larry Brooks's writing books, and lots of people don't like him. Um, the way that he sort of breaks down the parts of modern fiction stories sings to my soul, as it were. It gives. I love having just like cut and dried. This goes here, that goes here, this goes here, and then I can dress them up and style them and make them my own. I like to have the skeleton of the story, the bones there first, and then I can flesh it out and make it mine. And he definitely gives me that. So that's what I'm doing right now. I'm sort of giving my outline that I did the other day a once over and fixing any problems that I find. And everything looks pretty okay. There's a couple of things I didn't really deal with that I should. So that's something I should do, but all right. All right. Oh, I am working. I'm working. You should know. Writing doesn't always look like writing. I am. There we go. Okay, so that I need to note 218, 224. Referencing that. And then yeah, that's something that I've had to explain frequently to my chastising spouse. Just because I'm sitting there staring off into space doesn't mean I'm doing nothing. I'm actually doing some pretty heavy lifting most of the time. All right. Okay, I don't care about that right now. That's something I will look at later. Okay, so okay. I don't. I've thought about that as well, female writer. I think I'm going to try this one first all the way through. I've been using Brooks. I read his book a while back, like several years ago, and started using it on a novel I was working on that I never finished. So yeah, I want to do a whole story just using this, just to see how it goes, to see how it feels. And then once I have that experience under my belt, I'm planning to look at a couple of other ones and see what they bring to the table as well. I'm very well aware how easy it is to get pinballed around between different advice and opposing advice, and I think of it in terms like I call it research hell. Um, it doesn't just happen with writing, of course. Anytime I get interested in a topic, I end up going down the research rabbit hole and spending way more time than I should doing the research instead of doing the thing that I'm supposedly doing the research for. It ends up becoming a means of procrastination, effectively, for me. So yeah, no, I want to push through with just what I've got. See what I can do. I don't know if you guys could hear that. There was some interference going on from, I suspect, from my phone. I get that every so often. That that buzzy sound you get on speakers and stuff when your phone's grabbing messages and things. Just before someone calls you, your speakers go beep, 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 beep. Yeah. Yeah, whatever. I'll put it there. So yeah, I'm gonna try and use this and only this for this book, and whatever skill I can manage to scrounge up. Okay. There's gotta be. I seem to remember. Wonder where. Okay, well that's gonna bug me if I don't find it. I was pretty sure I had. I have for my Frank story in my planning folder for the Frank story. I have this printed out sheet that I printed out at some point. That is basically it's a beat sheet, sort of like a scene list, divided up into sections with some of the main elements specified in the right places. And I thought this was something that I pulled out of this book, Story Engineering. I'm sure that's where it's from. It is definitely a Larry Brooks related tool, but I haven't seen it in here. It's not there. Which means it must have been something I grabbed. I will mention him, won't I? Yeah, Frank is awesome. He's going to be even more awesome. I guess you probably weren't in the chat when I said this either. You, Silent Author 1942, will likely be grateful that I've spent this time working on this other story, because when I do go back to Frank, he is going to benefit immensely from my having gone through this story engineering book again and having plotted out this other story and structured it up nicely and done all the things, because I know just off the top of my head of a few things that I haven't done for Frank that I really need to do before his story is going to fly. So yeah, Frank will benefit from this hiatus more than anybody. Well, we have a couple other people in the chat that haven't said hi. Please say hi. We would love for you to say hi and introduce yourself. We are a friendly bunch. Sable Arad. Is it Aradia or Aradia? Sable Aradia. Sable Aradia. Frank hasn't solved anything yet. Frank barely, at the point where we left Frank, he could barely find his own backside with both hands and a map. He has no idea what's going on. No, there is no erasing from the timeline, and no pressure to chat if one doesn't want to chat either. I encourage people to chat. I would love for them to chat and be part of the community, but I'm certainly not going to force anybody to do anything. And there's Lucci Unit 69 is in there. I assume that's Lucci. Lucci like Italian Lucci. Dolce Lucci. Wow. Syndica. I wonder. Is Syndica a bot? I'm not used to so many new people. Ah, yes, that is almost certainly a bot. So, loose. Oh, okay, loose unit. A loose unit. Uh-huh. Ah, fair enough. Yeah. And no pressure to chat if you're a spectator. Twitch is a spectator sport, right? Oh, Moonflower Rider. Welcome. Welcome to the stream. Thanks for the follow. Um, for all the new people, don't forget to follow. And we established Silent Author in 1942. You are a Decepticon. We know this. We busted you last time. For any of the new viewers, feel free to follow. Make sure you are alerted when I go live 3 times a week. All that stuff. While I'm thinking about it, if you're watching on the YouTube archive or on the VOD stuff, follow, hit the bell, dingle dangle, all that stuff. Yeah, whatever. Or not. I'm okay either way, honestly. I will be here either way. What was I doing, though? I was doing something. We know. All of your protagonists are supervillains. It's like my 11-year-old when we were watching the Harry Potter series a few years ago. I made him a wand, actually, a couple of wands. Hey, who is that? Oh, Loose Unit. Thanks for the follow. Carved him a wand out of some wooden doweling, and we had a couple of different versions of wands. I had one where I drilled a little hole in the end, and I have these little teeny weeny neodymium magnets, very powerful magnets for the size, and I inserted a small magnet in the end of the wand so that he could accio coins and things, keys and coins and small metal objects. And then I made a slightly more complicated one that had an LED in the end, and a small battery pack in the handle, with just a little watch battery, and that and a button. I actually managed to install in a piece of wooden doweling, a battery, a button, and an LED, so that he could Lumos with his wand. With that wand, which was neat. I got a little laser LED and made an Avada Kedavra wand with a pew 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 laser in it. I was briefly a wand maker, yeah. My wife is firmly of the opinion that I get into these little hobbies or come up with these little projects just so that I can buy a bunch of tools that I will never use again. But yeah, I have basically a Dremel is all you need for most of that stuff. Yeah, but after watching through, well, we reread the series. That was his bedtime story every night for years, was the entire Harry Potter series, which I read to him in pieces every night. And the only he went around trying to remember all the spells from the series so he could pretend to be a wizard, and the only spells he could ever remember were like Crucio and Avada Kedavra and all of those. And he claims he's not a dark wizard, but I don't believe him. I mean, that's exactly what a dark wizard would say, right? I'm pretty sure he was cheering for Voldemort the whole time. So, yeah. So I'm wise to your ways, Silent Author. Well, in Frank's story, Frank is the Sherlock Holmes-like character. He's the one who's going to make the deductions and solve the mystery. He's the detective, right? Will he have a Watson? That's something I haven't decided yet. I've been thinking about it. That was sort of what his housekeeper was setting up to be, right? Mrs. I can't remember her name anymore. but that's sort of what the housekeeper character was setting up to be, was some sort of an assistant, a sounding board, as it were, you know, keeping the hearth fires burning, and someone to bounce ideas off of, and to, you know, bring him back into focus and into reality when he goes off the handles a bit. So yeah, I think she will be not Watson in the same sense as Doyle's Watson, like not a straight up assistant. Oh, Realm of Music is now following. Welcome to the stream. Forever Young by Alphaville. I'm not even sure what that is, although it does sound familiar. Oh, it is the song Alphaville. I don't know if I know. Is that the one that's featured in that four chords video where all of the pop songs use the same four chords and they just transition from one song to the other to the other to the other to the other? Axis of power, or axis of evil, whatever they call themselves. Forever young, I wanna be forever young. That one. It's the only part of the song I know, if that's the right song. Let me find the lyrics and I will see if I know what it is. Well, to answer your question, though, no, I don't remember it. I don't know that I ever really knew it. Ah, we've got a dynamic duo. Well, thanks for that. I appreciate it. Are you a musician or an avid listener? The Closet Forge and Realm of Music. All sorts of new friends today. What a lovely day. And I'm almost caught up on my voice work. Kinda. If I bust my butt a little bit today, I should be able to catch up, to be caught up. It wasn't directly, no. Dynamic Duo isn't specifically for Batman and Robin, although that's where it originates, yeah. Why were you bringing up Forever Young? Female writer. Oh, I see. Yeah. I should have made that connection, really. Yeah, that's interesting. So that, yeah, that's a good place to talk a little bit about the effect titles have on a work, and on how a reader will interact with the work. So if yeah, no, I could see it going either way. So when I decided on Tomorrow as a working title, and I have a long history of working titles becoming actual titles because I can't be bothered to change them. I tend to, once I sort of choose a title to work with, that sort of informs my writing of it. Ah, there we go. I sing more than occasionally. I am a musician as well as a writer. Not terribly active the last long while. I don't have anyone to jam with or play with here, really, but I'm primarily a drummer and singer, and I keep telling myself that I'm learning guitar. That was my first Twitch clip, actually. Yeah, there's usually not much to clip. Um, tomorrow, to, or maybe Tomorrow Forever. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm historically a drummer. I started off as a percussionist, actually. in a concert band and then a symphony orchestra growing up. And then, of course, in junior high, switched over to a set of drums and played in a heavy metal band for several years. And then my guitar player and I was my best friend through most of high school, actually, and into college. Just finished his PhD in English literature, actually. Shout out to Craig. Congratulations, Dr. Melhoff. Yeah, so I played drums for years and years and did vocals. Craig and I switched off on vocals, and generally I did lead and he did backup vocals because he was a lot better at harmonizing than I was. But a lot better at harmonizing than I was. So yeah, I've done a few solo things in the last little while, mostly just grabbing karaoke tracks and then recording vocals over top of it. But yeah, I keep telling myself I'm learning guitar and I'm learning keyboard. I have I can't really show you because I don't want to move my camera, but I have a little slide out tray under my desk that has a 49 key keyboard on it that I've been using off and on to learn keyboard, because if you can play a keyboard, you can do pretty much anything musically these days. And if you can't use a keyboard, then you're very limited. So that's on my to-do list, although it gets bumped frequently lower down on the list. So yeah, be a one-man band at some point. That's the plan anyway. Excuse me while I take some antacids. My reflux is flaring up. My sister plays clarinet. I could never handle the smell of the reeds. Oh, it's just not my thing. My mom plays the flute. I play the flute as well, or I did. When we started band in grade 6, I guess. Yeah. I had to choose an instrument in grade 6 to learn. Yeah, that is weird. Just this, I can smell it now viscerally. I've got a sense memory of that smell. I actually started with trumpet, of all things. Played that for about 6 months, and I found it really boring, really, really dull. And so I switched to percussion because you got to do a lot of different things in percussion. I was 5 or 6, I guess, at that point. And then in grade 6, I was already sort of touring with the concert band at that point, going to festivals and winning a lot, actually. And we had to pick an instrument for grade 6 band when that started. And I said, well, I guess I'll play percussion. And the first day of band class in school, I hadn't seen a half note in years. It was all like weird syncopated, 64th notes and 30 seconds and, yeah. So I'm sitting there on the snare drum, half beat, half note, half rest, half note, half rest. I was like, okay, this is going to be unendurable. And I also didn't want to have to carry my snare drum to school a couple times a week. I walked to school in a snare drum and stand. My snare drum and stand were fairly heavy duty, and I was a fairly small child. So I decided to switch to the flute. My mom played flute and had a flute is much easier to carry. So I switched to flute, learned the flute. Yeah. Do I play anything else? No. I mean, I wouldn't say I play the trumpet or the flute anymore. I have done, but it's been 40 years, so. Well, maybe not quite 40. I'm not that old, but yeah. I don't know. I've always made it a part of my life to engage in new activities and try new things, but a long habit of getting good enough at something to make a living at it, or at least do it professionally, and then stopping and moving on to something else. I was a baker for a while. My wife and I ran a bakery here in China. Ah, yes, I have. I have. Right. Right here, actually. That's also on my list of things to learn. Got me a uke. Almost certainly not in tune. Nope, not in tune. I actually figured that a ukulele might be a better choice than the guitar for me, because I have a fairly deep voice. And so when I play guitar and sing, my voice and the guitar tend to interfere with each other. Oh, okay. So, yeah, I was thinking the ukulele might be a better choice than the guitar because it's in a much higher register all the way. So we will complement each other better. Then I can sing in my normal register, which is down here and not way up there, where popular music tends to live. Thank God we're not in the 80s anymore. There's no way I could sing that stuff. Yeah, I don't know if there is really such a thing as a double bass, but that's what I sang in choir. The really low parts. When I was singing regularly, I had a little more than a 3-octave range. I had about maybe not quite 3.5. Hello again. Lots of people are here, actually. I will actually, yes, that's a good call. I will share the, nope, that's not what I want to share. Share this thing again. We have a Discord if anyone wants to continue conversing after the stream or when I'm not live. Oh, what happened there? Oh, we had a join. Ah, that's Amanda Panda. I bet you. Yes, it must be. I was out of window there. So I should point out with the Discord server that it only lets people join if they've had an account for more than about 10 hours or so, just to prevent spamming and griefing and all those things. And if you join, you should pop into the roles channel and choose the sections you want to be part of. There's a whole bunch of channels and stuff that aren't. Lord Galacrond, welcome to the stream. Nice to meet you. Once you choose some roles in the roles channel, you get access. It makes visible a whole bunch of stuff. So, hello. I'm assuming you know everybody else who's already here. A lot of the other newer people. We're having a day. But I don't know. Go ahead and introduce yourself. Who are you? What do you do? Another writer. We've been talking about music the last little bit. Yeah, I can stretch to low tenor parts. Some of the really the higher tenor parts are way beyond me, but low tenor parts I can usually handle. Oh, ha! I understand. The drummer. Actually, I just took my drums apart and stored them because I haven't been using them much. Yeah, I bet you do know all of these people. You're related to a couple of them. All right, so Yeah, no, that's what I was gonna do. I was gonna pop over to my. Yeah, I don't need to listen to that. I think that beat sheet that I was talking about, I think I got that from his website, Larry Brooks's website, which I remember. I think it's, oh, he's redesigned it since last I was here. There is no other stuff. uh, yeah. A lot of Larry Brooks's everything reads like an infomercial. It really does. And that's unfortunate because there's a lot of valuable stuff in his well, the one book I've read anyway. There we go. Yes, it's in his blog somewhere. I'm going to find it. Okay, that's useful for later. Ooh, it's chilly today. It's really cold where I am. Gala, not gala. And likewise, Lord Galacrond. Uh, oh, and there comes the again. All right. Well, let me see if I can. Oh, I wanted that one. Blank beat sheet form. There we go. This is exactly the right one. Okay, well, I guess I can leave that to the side for now. What did I find here? Yeah, okay. I'm looking for stuff there. Oh, well, minimize that too. I don't need this anymore. There we go. Okay, so now I am back to the stream and Scrivener. And I need to take a break for biology purposes. I'll be back in a moment. Okay, what did I miss? Um, you're in Montana and giving me temperatures in Celsius? Cool. I am in China. I'm in Hangzhou, China, which is just to the left of Shanghai. I have to remember to call it Shanghai, not Shanghai. And it's not nearly that cold. It's hovering just below zero, I think, at the moment, Celsius. But the way that they build buildings here, well, the majority of people are in metric, to be fair. Yeah, the way they build buildings here, they don't insulate properly, or at all, for that matter. So if it's, excuse me, if it's -5 outside, it's -5 inside, unless you take measures like keeping the heat on. And if you turn off the heat, it very quickly reverts back to outdoor temperatures indoors again. So we don't generally run the heat in our house that much. We try to bundle up a bit. For example, I've got my big fuzzy jammies and a hoodie and a t-shirt on at the moment, which is generally enough. I'm in a fairly small room. Legion of Doom base. I don't remember. I don't remember enough about the Transformers to know if that's a Transformer reference or not. But I suspect that's where the Decepticons hang out. I can't remember the name of the Decepticons leader. Megatron. Yeah. I really don't remember. I was a bit too old for the Transformers when they really hit. It wasn't my jam. All that 80s stuff that people look back on nostalgically, like He-Man and Transformers and all that stuff. I never really glommed onto that stuff. Actually, I'll tell you what I did glom onto though, was what was apparently the first Japanese anime that ever made the jump to North America. Are they not open in the front? Hopefully, they're not open in the back either, like a hospital robe. Although that might make for an interesting winter. Oh, Super Friends. Okay, yeah. I think that's after my time as well. Uh, but the first anime that ever made it to a North American audience, which was Gatchaman, or what was it called in English? Battle of the Planets. That's what they called it. I mean, they did horrible, horrible things to it for the American release. They cut out, partly because this was in the late 1970s. I mean, late 70s, possibly into the early 80s, but I don't think so. Maybe into the early 80s, but only barely just. For American release, Sandy Frank was the guy who bought the rights to it, and I think he was either connected in some way with Hanna-Barbera or just really liked them. But the original Gatchaman was bird ninjas. They were called. This five amazing young people, all with special powers. And they had bird themed costumes. Each of them was a different kind of bird, and they would transform into their bird forms and fight bad guys and stuff. And there was this alien invasion. They were on Earth, and there was an alien invasion, and the aliens would blow up buildings and stuff. And so, for the American release, they cut out all of the death, all of the violence and destruction, and removed any reference to Earth. So all of the stuff happened. All of the Steelhawks? No, no, it was called Battle of the Planets. If that's the one if you're referring to the one I'm talking about. I don't remember anything being called Steel Hawks, but it's possible. I'll look it up. Silverhawks? Here, I'll see if I can. Science Ninja Team Gatchaman was the straight translation. Let's see if I can find the original series. Oh, yes, because this is where I was getting. There was the original series in the 70s. No, that's we're all in the same boat, friend. The only reason, criminy, the only reason that Gatchaman is as clear in my mind as it is that they rebooted it a few years back, maybe 6 or 7 years ago, and made a new sort of adaptation of the original concept, which I thought was phenomenal. Far better than the original series, actually, in every way. But I was a big fan of the original series back when it aired on North American television. And what they did was they removed all reference to Earth. All of the action and fights happened on other planets. And all of the people that were killed were actually robots or androids or something along those lines. I mean, trying to retrofit a violent, not really for kids kind of cartoon to be for, I mean, like, you know the setup, the difference in cultures between, what's considered acceptable and appropriate for anime in Japan versus North America. It's less the case now, but it certainly was at the time. North American viewpoints were that if it's a cartoon, it's for kids. And of course, the Japanese viewpoint is no, it's not necessarily. So, so they tried to, remove all of the violence and all of the sexy and much of the story, if I'm honest, which left them with big holes in the narrative, big holes in the plot. So they decided to fill that up with new footage, which they, for some reason, drew in the style of Hanna-Barbera characters. So they added a whole, like 2 or 3 whole new characters. This robot in a space station and his robot dog, and they were voiced like the Great Gazoo from the Flintstones, and it was horrible. It was horrible, horrible. I didn't know at the time that it was horrible. I was like 5, 6. But yeah, having watched some episodes of it as an adult, how did that fly? I don't know. But they cut out half of every episode pretty much to appease the parents, the Tipper Gore and her friends, effectively, but before Tipper Gore